So I've been reading this book. For those of you that don't know, I'm getting my yoga certification, and I have dived deeper into spirituality through yoga more than I ever could imagine. But something that I really wanted to talk about through this journey, I have so many journeys. I like say journey for everything. Especially what I'm learning through yoga. I've kind of talked about it through some of my other stuff, like my judgment detox, and might have mentioned it in videos here and there. Something that still bothers me, which I'm trying to get to a state where nothing bothers me, which is, you know, an enlightened state that one has to work towards. Something that bothers me is just how egotistical the world is and how egotistical human beings are. The way that people live and the way that nations are ran through like the government and society and whatnot. It's all ego-driven things, and so that's why everyone is so unhappy. I have been actively trying to be happy just to be happy, not because of anything, and not doing things just to reap the benefits and reap the fruits through those actions. And I really feel like it helps to feel more selfless in love, and it just makes me sad sometimes seeing other people not reciprocating your happiness due to their external circumstances. There will be some people that would like to debate on people's situations and how they can't be fixed, and how people get put into circumstances through like how they were raised and how they were brought up, or like where they live, just any external factor. And I just truly feel like that's just not true. Like, you can be put in a circumstance or a situation that is not good, but that doesn't mean that you can't get out of it. And I think what a lot of people think is that they truly can't get out of the deep pit that they're in. But we are ultimately the choosing ones, and we are ultimately the ones that are going through life, making decisions, doing what either we feel is best or what has been given to us or put in front of us, you know, through family, parents, again, just external circumstances. Regardless of what our situation is or where we are in life, there's no reason to be so upset and mad and taking out your anger on other people, or not showing up to life in a dignified and disciplined manner that helps all of humanity. You showing up, being upset, sad, depressed, mad about how things are, how life is, life in general, whatever circumstances that you're in, having that attitude is not going to change anything and just is going to cause more misery and more suffering. Even if things are shitty, your attachment to that is making it more shitty. Through yoga, I have delved into the depths of discipline and attachment. And if you are attached to anything, then you are going to suffer. If you're attached to an expectation of something, you're going to be disappointed. If you only do things for receiving things, or doing things through selfishness and self-gain, you're going to be disappointed because you're never going to be satisfied. Non-attachment teaches us that we can be happy and joyous regardless of anything, regardless of how something turns out, regardless of if you have this one thing or you don't, regardless of what's happening in the world. There's another book I recommend reading. It's called Man's Search for Meaning, and it's about this man who survived the Holocaust. It kind of goes hand in hand with this, because all the suffering that those people were going through and all the suffering that's happening now, I've seen videos of the children still smiling, still laughing. In the book, he writes of the little joys that he had to relish in, and that is ultimately what kept him going. And joy and love alone is what is going to keep the world going, because without love, life ceases to exist. Because if you think about it, if everything was just hatred and sadness and whatever word you want to use for the opposite of love, this place would cease to exist, because everything would just be destruction. And yeah, don't need to paint that picture in my head, but what I'm trying to say here is just spread more love, because that is ultimately what is going to make you happy and what is going to feel good. I'm not trying to say that there are some people that don't have a right to be, sad or upset about who they are, what they've become, where they're at in life. But what I am trying to say is that yes, you can change it, and if you don't think that you can, then you never will be able to. If you don't believe in yourself, then how are you supposed to accomplish anything? If you don't have love, how are you going to do anything, honestly? If you're outside and you see someone driving by, walking by, smile at them, wave at them, acknowledge them. People forget that we are not separate. We're all here. We're all together. We're all in the same place, same time. We're not so different. And personally, I think people are scared of other people. They're scared of talking, conversating, socializing. They're scared of feeling a connection with someone. And I'll admit, I am a very shy person and I have social anxiety, and so I know what it feels like. There's bugs. I know what it feels like to not want to have a confrontation with someone, but anytime I do have a meaningful conversation with anyone, especially a stranger, or just a really nice interaction with someone, even if it's some random person I'll never see again, it is literally the highlight of my day. It makes me feel so good. It makes me feel so much better. It makes me feel like there is hope and there's love. And I wish people would just grow on that, and they would do that for other people and ultimately receive that for themselves as well. And it's not through any selfish gain or neediness of any sort. It's just simply giving. That leads me to this part of the book I was reading. I'm just gonna read a little bit of this. In modern life, instead of learning to give, everyone in the family expects to receive without giving. Whereas giving is an expression of selflessness, expectation is an expression of selfishness. A selfish husband and father uses his wife and children to satisfy his ego. He does not know the law of giving. When this way of being is typical, the family institution radiates hatred instead of radiating love, and chaos is created in society. When one has expectations, he is never fulfilled, but giving is a fulfillment in itself. Most people are motivated to do actions for the sake of receiving rewards. Attachment to rewards is a deep-rooted habit. Most people do not understand how to be selfless. Reward-oriented people are very selfish. They suffer and they make others suffer. Perhaps that is one reason that the best of men have retreated to forest dwellings, wondering, why do human beings still behave like animals? Suffering comes when one is interested in reward. If one performs actions expecting rewards, he is bound to receive the fruits of his actions. The fruits then motivate him to do more actions, and in this way he finds himself caught in a whirlpool of life, never content, always seeking more and more for himself and ignoring or using others for his own gain. Actions done for reward thus create bondage. One becomes a slave to rewards in much the same way that the rat in scientific experiments becomes a slave to the pellet box, performing only those actions that bring him a token reinforcement. But there is a way to attain release from such enslavement. Perform your duties skillfully and selflessly, without attachment to reward, then you will be free. So what I get from that is that we all have our duties to perform in society. We all have, responsibilities and whatnot. And if you're only doing things to get a reward, then that's when you're going to be disappointed and sad, because you're just always going to be constantly reaching for something. And even if you get that one thing, there's always going to be something else. And I understand that we all have desires, and there's always going to be a desire for something. Like, that's kind of what, keeps us going in a sense, is like working towards things or attaining that sense of self-discipline. And while I do believe that's true, I don't think that's not all life is about. I think what life is about is giving and being selfless, because doing something nice for someone or showing love in some sort of way, even if it's towards yourself, it feels really good. And to me, that's kind of what keeps me going. The other day I was having a really tough day, and it was the few interactions I had with other people that were showing me love, care, and selflessness that made my day worth living, I would say. Like, it just made me feel so much better, and I just wish people would resort to that more than, crime, low vibrational acts, murder, assault, hurting people, hurting themselves, saying fuck you to the world, and just caring about themselves and their personal gain. The world would just be such a pleasant place. I've literally cried over this multiple times, and I'm not afraid to share that. Yeah, this is just how I've been feeling lately. Like I said before, I am practicing non-attachment to everything, and so if I smile or try to be nice to someone and they are just the complete opposite, I don't take it personally. It doesn't affect me. I just hope that I can just share my thoughts and any wisdom I may have to you guys, in hopes that you just spread the awareness and really go within and see if you have that inner strength to pull yourself out of any sadness or depression that you're going through. Whatever situation you're in or whatever you're going through, look within yourself, and there is always something that is there for you to change the course of your life and show up in life differently. And even if it's just something small, I promise you it builds up into something bigger. Starting out with one thing, you master that and you're able to add on. Eventually, you are showing up in life in a completely different way. And it makes you a better person, makes your life better, makes the world better, makes the community better. And I think that's what it's all about, is, just enjoying our time on earth while we're here. Even if there is a lot of hatred and egotistical humans that are in charge, just start with yourself, and that will make all the difference. Start by being kind and loving yourself first, and then you'll be able to do that to other people. I think I've rambled long enough, so I'm gonna go, but thanks for coming to my TED Talk, and read this book if you haven't. It's so good. It's so good. Okay, bye.